I've made a big mistake. Okay, I love all of you guys, and I know like a lot of the time something like this would just sound like an excuse, but I promise you this isn't. I might have to restart the broadcast after to fix it. You can't change your hotkeys in XSplit once you're live, and because I was playing last night, well, I never play StarCraft 2. I had my keybinds reset, so like I can't do the first blood and swapping to map intros. So after this first game, I'm gonna restart the broadcast to fix that. For now, though, welcome to the Acer Team Story Cup. Good morning, one and all. This is Complexity-Dignitas combined with, well, I think I just said it already. Complexity-Dignitas. There you go. Sorry. Rough start to the day. It's an alliance between the two teams versus Team Liquid. Boy, does it get more awkward than that? That's why I like having a co-caster. Anyways, it is Complexity-Dignitas versus Team Liquid in a best-of-9 clan war here in the Acer Team Story Cup. We'll go over stats and relevant statistics in a moment. For now, though, spawning in the top right. He's red. He was a little bit late, but that's okay because it is Tefel. And the score is 0-0. It's a fresh match, fresh start. In the bottom left, though, his opponent from Team Liquid. It is Liquid HerO. Alright, so it's worth noting, guys, before we do anything of anything, that the stats for this are going to be a little bit weighted, I should say. I think at this point, I don't know that Complexity-Dignitas can make top 4. But for them at this point, I think it's all about not getting relegated so they don't have to re-qualify for next season. What I mean by this is if you go to the Wikipedia page, you can see like the scores of the teams. Like for example, Team Liquid is like 7-1 right now after that win versus Axiom the other day, and unfortunately Complexity-Dignitas is tied at bottom with Empire Fnatic, the two Alliance teams, both 0-5 right now in the season. So again, for them, it doesn't take much to not be on the very bottom, because, I mean, above them are people like Evil Geniuses who are 1-5. There's Invictus Gaming who are also doing equally poorly, but they haven't played many of their games. They have a lot to play out still. So, regardless of what the roster looks like today for Team Dignitas / Complexity, I think for them, the idea is that they need this win so they can compete again next season if they plan to. For Team Liquid, though, they're so well set, and quite frankly, I think a lot of people are going to come into this series today just kind of giving them the win before anything gets even started. Now, it's worth noting Tefel, notorious for going pull first, not going to be too waylaid by this pylon. It is a nuisance and a bit of an annoyance, to say the least, but as these links start coming out, he should be able to deal with this. Now, actually, dialing this back even further for a second, guys, what's really important and worth noting, if you haven't seen a lot of Tefel's gameplay lately, there's only like one player who ever really screws with Tefel. Oh my god. This is gonna buy him so much extra time. I was gonna say, there's only one player who really screws with Tefel, and it's Froz. Outside of like Froz, pretty much everybody gets killed by Tefel at some point. It might not be a consistent like 3-0, 3-0, 3-0 every tournament all day, every day, but Tefel is kind of the Polish-Korean killer right now. He's kicking a lot of ass, he takes a lot of names. HerO is dedicating a lot, by the way, to just be a nuisance, but Tefel, instead of taking a quicker third, decides to take it down over here. Just predicting the probe would probably put a pylon down there as well. The first two links are going to come across the map, and the cannon should be done in time, so there's not going to be nothing here to really stop this. Or, I mean, to get through this. Oh my god. Can I wake up, please? Can brain start working at some point? Fumbled every word so far this cast. At any rate, going back home is Tefel. Now, it's worth noting, he's one of the few players that does Roach Hydra in just about every matchup right now. And he does it really well, is the thing. So, I'm not sure if that's what he's going to go for necessarily against HerO, but I mean, it's kind of the common thing we're seeing a lot in ZVP right now. You know, one player will go for Roach Hydra, there goes Colossus, maybe this Viper's made. It's kind of this boring lead up to a pretty awesome late game battle, but for the most part, it's going to be... Ooh, hey, can I do this?
First blood.
Well, let you guys know I tabbed out just for you, because I loves you guys that much. But at any rate, it's actually going to be a Stargate opening here out of HerO, so some pretty standard stuff. And this kind of goes down the path I was just about to start describing. So we're seeing a lot of Roach Hydra come out of this matchup right now, and a lot of the awkwardness of it comes down to the timings in which the Hive Tech sort of syncs up. So for example, we're finding a lot of Zerg players who kind of rush that Hive Tech for Vipers actually end up struggling a little bit because they don't have the ground forces necessary to capitalize on having those Vipers in the first place. And alternatively, we're also seeing a lot of Zerg players struggle because they get caught on Lair Tech with Roach Hydra, no Corruptors, no Vipers, There's no way to deal with those force fields, much less the Colossus themselves. So for Tefel, he's going to have to find this really nice blend of each in order to make sure HerO does not end his life. Because HerO, I mean, guys, he's DreamHack winner for a reason. Like, he's a good freaking player. And I really like the Phoenix coming out first. I really like the Phoenix coming out first. We're seeing a lot of really... I don't know. Again, I kind of joke about calling it a North American strategy, but realistically, there are some people who can pull off Oracle first very well. One of the big people I'd reference to this effect would be HerO. He's been... what was that? I can't remember the matchup, but HerO was playing the Easter Team Story Cup not too long ago, and he went Oracle first, and I'm just kind of rolling my eyes like it's going to be no good. Actually, the Oracle second's a bit curious to see. The Phoenix is going to chase this off into Tefel. This might look just like, you know, straight up Phoenix, but as we know, there's Hydralisks dead on the way, so you won't be too dismayed by this. I mean, he can put down a couple Spore Crawlers if he still wants to. Probably should for safety's sake anyways, but he's not going to need the 2 that you would normally have, but instead, HerO's going for like a grab bag mix of Protoss units right now. So he goes for the Phoenix first, follows up the Oracle, and now is Void Ray on the way. I mean, the Void Ray makes a lot of sense. You see a lot of Protoss players make a couple Phoenixes, swap to a Void Ray, and then go back to Phoenix production. And a lot of the times, because you're worried about those roaches, the prismatic alignment and the base damage from a Void Ray, fantastic. But, oh god, there's no anti-air here. Oh god. The Queen is a little bit late to the party. Drones are pulled right away. The Hydra's only just now coming out, so HerO's getting quite a few kills on this Oracle already. And again, the typical amount you'll see is like, you know, 6 to 7, then usually the Oracle disengages, but he actually sacrifices it for 7 kills and almost a Hydralisk. Not the most fantastic use of an Oracle of all time, but alright, you get some kills for it. I think the idea behind the Oracle as well, guys, that makes it so strong is, again, like, sometimes the threat of an Oracle is more dangerous than the Oracle itself, just like the chance that it comes in. I've been waiting for a pylon to go down. We've had a pylon over here for quite some time, or a probe over here for quite some time. Just kind of think he was going to start doing some gateway aggression or such, but at any rate, this is the whole point of getting those Void Rays out a little bit quicker. You're expecting this counterattack. The Hydras are kind of low, so force fields, you can probably cut those back and just fight the roaches for the time being. Yeah, as we see. But prismatically, it lands on top of the Hydralisk. Grubby taught us a long time ago, guys. This does not do bonus damage, but it looks cooler. It looks scarier. So, you know, run, roaches, run. Alright, so far I have a couple of good kills here. 2 Void Rays, though, will not, I'll repeat, will not carry him through to the late game. The Colossus that he's getting out now, this is the tech he needs to rely upon. The problem for HerO, though, guys, look at his army supply. Granted, a lot of this is slow lings, roaches, and now getting this Hydra count up. So this army's not nearly as brutal as it might look. There's a lot of cannon fodder in it, is the too long didn't read version of this, and quite frankly, Ling Hydra's got a place, but slow Ling Hydra doesn't. These are not going to get to do anything, I fear. Alright, well, HerO's going to try and take an engagement here. There's a couple good force fields available, and not that many Hydralisks on the front line. Tefel gets caught. It's got a little bit awkwardly, but as he comes in from the right side with more Hydralisks, there are not a lot of force fields left. Only the Void Rays really remain in that one Colossus. If he can get through that, he's got a lot to deal with damage with. But that's a lot easier said than done. He doesn't even lose more than the shields on the Void Rays. He lost a couple sentries there. Nothing too big, nothing too crazy. But Tefel's going to sacrifice his life. You go for the cannons, you go for the Nexus. I don't think that's going to be worth it, and he's kind of realizing this too a little bit too late, so forced to take a bit of an awkward fight. Again, the slow wings coming in from behind. They actually get on top of the Immortal. They take that guy down. As the Void Rays start falling, the Roaches become more and more viable, which is why we start seeing more and more being replaced. Tefel at this point knows HerO's got to make 2 tough decisions. One is either make more Immortals, or 2, make more Colossi. He can't do both, sadly, off of 1 production gate. His extended thermal lens is so close to finishing. There we go, 2 seconds out, 1 second out. It does complete, so now the Colossus is going to become a little more effective, but still has to stay back from these roaches, still has to stay away from the Hydralisks. And quite frankly, as we see, HerO's pulling probes, guys. There's no situation where you ever want to be pulling probes, but needed and necessary. Force field on the ramp going to keep a good chunk of these back. He doesn't have the DPS to kill these on the high ground, but still flooding units at this point. Tefel kind of all-inning it at this point, guys, because right now, he's got no tech behind this. He's not going for a hive. Still more slowlings are on the way. I mean, look, he's got +1 Carapace. That's all he's got going for him. And he's driven quite a bit off at the natural base, but do keep in mind, he didn't kill many of these probes. They were pulled away. So he's got a couple good probe kills so far, don't get me wrong. He actually snipes off that second Colossus, and that starts changing this round a little bit. One Colossus is not a lot of DPS compared to 2. He gets right on top of the second one. This is looking more and more bad for HerO. An Immortal pops out, but guess what? There's already Hydralisk on top of this. The Immortal getting focused down, tries to back away, will use the Robo Facility as a force field, but this means no more production. Strictly gateway units from here to the end of the game. Blink is on the way, but these Stalkers will not warp in. Good pilot snipe out of Tefel. GG is called, and this, ladies and gentlemen, is why I call him the Korean Killer.